right, welcome. And I'm glad that you've joined me today. Every experience begins with a thought, and our experience changes when we change that thought. So in this series, we will focus on the thoughts and emotions relating to special meridian points located along the sides of the spine and corresponding to the vertebrae. They are called Huatuojiaji points, and each point connects to a specific area of your body and nervous system. And we will be working on opening these Huatuojiaji points along the spine to increase qi flow and activation of the nervous system so that your body has access to the life force and the information it needs to heal itself. I will help you to do this through Qigong healing and the use of forgiveness and affirmations. T6 is what we'll work on today, and it is connected to the diaphragm, which is responsible for physically moving the lungs so that the lungs can effectively exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. The lung does not move itself. There are no nerves regulating that function, and this can cause a middle warmer blockage and a qi deficiency resulting in breathing problems of all kinds. It is also connected to the stomach meridian and is blocked by anger with life, stuffed emotions, and constant worry and fear of the future. It can inhibit the flow of the solar plexus chakra and our ability to assimilate and process life. So by clearing the stagnant energy in each point and infusing it with life force energy, your body will have what it needs to correct and harmonize any dysfunction that has accumulated over the years. Life happens. Whether we choose it or not, it can have a great impact on how we live and view our lives. And we will identify areas where energy is inflamed, stuck, stagnant, and refusing to flow because of old beliefs, dependence, controlling experiences, shame, humiliations, fears, the stories that we tell ourselves, people in our lives, lifestyles, attitudes, and demands. We will focus on the beliefs that your mind is ready to embrace or to release, where it is ready for change, for progress, and transformation. So embrace these thoughts. Feel them deep within your body, within your mind and your soul, and allow them to penetrate deep into your heart. Because you are absolutely worthy of every virtue, and you are worthy of every life-giving belief. As you hear these statements and let them into your heart, they will transform you gently, profoundly, and bring greater and higher good in your life. So we will start by taking a deep breath. Allow yourself to relax and place your hand on your chest, touching the two fear points with your thumb and index finger. The spots may be tender. Hold your hand there, and you may massage the points if they are tender. The important thing is supporting those points with your energy through the palm of your hand. Or you can hold your hands in a prayer position at your heart space. This is particularly effective if you're holding rare earth magnets with the south pole facing your right hand, or you may use a piece of quartz crystal, jade, or selenite. So imagine looking into a mirror and looking into your eyes and talking directly into your soul. In this moment, speak this maxim to yourself with the care and compassion you would give to the most apprehensive of beings. So repeat after me. Take kindness and benevolence as basis. Take frankness and friendliness to heart. Speak with reason, treat with courtesy, act with emotion, and accomplish results. Now we'll say this one more time, but this time we'll speak it into the T6 vertebrae, increasing the life force with honest kindness and respect for its importance, its place, and its function. So take kindness and benevolence as basis. Take frankness and friendliness to heart. Speak with reason, treat with courtesy, act with emotion, and accomplish results. We will breathe after each statement, consciously creating new pathways of response and allowing the energy to freely and lovingly flow. So carefully listen to each statement. Try to repeat after me in your mind. I give myself permission to bring up and address the unconscious beliefs that have kept me stuck in patterns of response that bring harm to myself and others. And breathe. I give myself permission to forgive the people and institutions that have influenced my beliefs when they have encouraged distorted ideas, even when they believed that it was good. And breathe. I forgive those in my life experience so far who intentionally or unintentionally caused me harm because of their own broken and distorted interpretations of life. And breathe. I forgive myself for my incorrect interpretation of the love and care offered to me by those who truly wanted to show love. Breathe. I ask others to forgive me when I have hurt or caused harm because of my mistaken interpretation of reality. Breathe. I forgive myself for any resistance I have towards embracing all that is good, lovely, and precious. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that miraculous transformation, healing, change, and opportunities only happen after a long, toiling effort, self-degradation, or that they don't happen for me. And breathe. I embrace all opportunities, gifts, and love that flow to me without hesitation or skepticism, but with thankfulness and gratitudes. Breathe. I give myself permission to surrender and allow for the highest and greatest good to come to transform me and to remake me. And breathe. I forgive myself for distorting my alignment with myself, with the great creator, and with great nature, because I do not know my true self. Breathe. I give myself permission to accept my true self and clear the blockages that keep me distorted in my physical health, my emotional health, my social health, and my spiritual health. And breathe. I give myself permission to take responsibility for whatever comes into my presence with gratitude and calmness. And breathe. I forgive myself for knowingly or unknowingly creating the emotional and physical patterns that block my flow and connection to myself, heaven, earth, or humanity. And breathe. I give myself permission to grow and evolve by giving up the stories of the past so that the universe can write new ones. Breathe. I love and accept myself now as I begin to understand and accept the corrections to any false programming and beliefs I might have received as a child. And breathe. I love and accept myself as I align myself to think and feel in the way the universe thinks and feels, accepting the miracles that flow through me, around me, above me, and below me. And breathe. I love and accept that the universe is highly flexible, and I can be too. Because when I'm flexible, which is in harmony with the universe, I am open to the infinite possibilities, and then possibilities will appear. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I love myself, I will be in trouble. And breathe. I forgive myself for stuffing down my anger and other emotions because I'm afraid of what others will think. And breathe. I forgive myself for what I did not know, so I hid and suppressed my feelings in order to appear okay. And breathe. I forgive myself for worrying about what others will think of me. And breathe. I forgive myself for worrying about the things that I have no control or influence in or over. Breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid of the future and how I can control its unfolding. And breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid that I won't be able to maintain control as the future unfolds. And breathe. I forgive myself for worrying about how I can control the future. Breathe. I forgive myself for not trusting that life can be beautiful and positive even when I don't control it. Breathe. I forgive myself for not embracing and taking in the abundance of life. And breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid to fully take in all that life has to offer. And breathe. I forgive myself for refusing to fully take in life. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I don't have the right to take up space or even to exist. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to take in as little as possible in order to hide and be unnoticeable. And breathe. I forgive myself for holding myself down and not fully engaging in my life. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that sadness and grief must fill me and be honored before I can be filled with what I enjoy. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I can't be filled with happiness and joy until I honor the pain and grief in the world. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I truly take in and allow myself to be filled with joy and happiness, it will take away from someone else's fulfillment. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing it's easier to feel depressed and sad than to engage fully with the wonderment of life. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to be perfect to receive all that life has to offer me. And breathe. I forgive myself for letting old patterns of grief stagnate and grow into problems that are bigger than the original issue. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to nurse old hurts and shocks of the past in order to keep their story alive and growing within me, taking up space that could be used for good. And breathe. I forgive myself for allowing myself to build structures of remorse to remind me and everyone around me of what I am unwilling to forgive and let go of. And breathe. I forgive myself for barking at the world rather than letting go of old hurts. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that the only way people will see me and acknowledge my existence is to hoop and holler about my pains and my hurts. And breathe. I forgive myself for communicating my needs, wants, and desires in backhanded or illogical ways in order to prove that people don't listen to me. And breathe. I forgive myself for not being frank, straightforward, and upfront in my communication. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to smother others with love in order to be loved. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing I can't love myself without approval of others first. And breathe. I forgive myself for suppressing my sadness so that others will love me. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing others have to love me before I can love myself. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that love is limited. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that indulgence is love. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that attention is love. And breathe. I forgive myself for not understanding what love really is. And breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid and dreading the need to assimilate what is new. Breathe. I forgive myself for resisting what is new and different. And breathe. I forgive myself for being so afraid of new experiences that I block myself from accepting, taking in, and embracing the very thing that can nourish me to the fullest. And breathe. I forgive myself for not trusting the process of life. And breathe. I give myself permission to call up and transform, transmute, release, and remove all anger at life, stuffed and unresolved emotions, fear of the future, constant worry, misalignment with life, and denial of my spiritual self for the highest and greatest good of myself and others. And breathe. I now give myself permission to unblock both sides of the Huatuojiaji points of T6, opening and activating the flow of qi and information through T6, communicating freely with all parts of my body, mind, and spirit, raising the quality of my thoughts. Breathe. I give myself permission to see the past, the present, and the future clearly and honestly. And breathe. I give myself permission to take responsibility for every aspect of creating the life that supports me and that I love. Breathe. I give myself permission to gain wisdom through joyfully accepting the experiences of life in all of their diversity. And breathe. I give myself permission to release all that keeps me from seeing and hearing the truth. And breathe. Without anger at life, stuffed in unresolved emotions, fear of the future, and constant worry, I am free to align my life with my spiritual self and the energies of the entire universe. And breathe. When I am aligned with the universe, which is truth and love, I am free to release my anger at life and to stop worrying about the future. And breathe. I am free to trust life to unfold before me in positive ways. And breathe. I am free to love myself. And breathe. I am free to take in life in perfect balance. And breathe. I am free to have the capacity to take in the fullness of life and breathe. I am free to lovingly live life to the fullest. Breathe. I am free to love life and feel safe doing so. And breathe. I am free to believe it is my birthright to live life fully and freely. And breathe. I am free to choose to live life fully right now. And breathe. I am free to love every aspect of my life. And breathe. I am free to take charge of my own life. And breathe. I am free to let life agree with me. And breathe. I am free to assimilate the new every moment of every day. And breathe. I am free to be well in every moment. And breathe. I am free to digest and assimilate all the new experiences that I experience peacefully and joyously. And breathe. I am free to breathe freely and fully. And breathe. I am free to be courageous and live courageously. Breathe. I am free to trust the process of life. And breathe. I am free to have the power, strength, and knowledge to handle everything in my life perfectly aligned and supported by all things. And breathe. With the power of my divine consciousness, I now create connection and harmony with all things in myself and in my world in a way that inspires kindness, friendliness, honesty, and goodwill. And breathe. I give myself the power to flow genuine love and sincere compassion to all that is in my range of influence, freely offering connection from the brightest place in my heart. Take a long, deep breath and release all that does not align with truth and love. Let's do this again. Breathe in and release all that does not align with truth and love. You are now creating new alignments, stronger and more powerful beliefs, letting go of the stories of the past and creating new supportive and harmonious ones, to manifest the peace, happiness, and calm that is divinely gifted to you at all times. So I leave this blessing with you. May you know tender shelter and healing blessings when you are called to stand in the place of pain. May the places of darkness within you be turned toward the light. And may you be granted the wisdom to avoid false resistance when suffering knocks on the door of your life. May you be able to glimpse its hidden gift. And may the grace of transfigurations heal your wounds. So I leave this with you so that you may smile and embrace the universe as you start making a positive difference in the world. Thank you.